Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you guys are. So guys, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the video as always, guys. So guys, I want to touch on an interview I saw with Timothy Bradley. Before I get into it, I want to give a shout out to Elizabeth Cobra. He's asked me to do, or you've asked me to do videos about fighters from different eras and do fantasy matchups. What I'll do is I'll try to integrate them into my videos. When I do, I'm gonna look to study some of those guys that you mentioned. What I will say is that it's hard for me to do videos like that because firstly, you can't really compare and contrast eras. You can't really compare and contrast guys that fought maybe 40, 50 years apart. You know, it's difficult. For example, one of the ones that you asked me to do was George Foreman and Mike Tyson. Now, that's a very tough fight because you can't really compare and contrast who would win that fight because both of those guys were seen as the brutalizer in their eras. Both guys were eventually outdone. But it's just hard that stylistically who would win in a matchup like that. You know, because both of those guys were seen as the same guy of their respective eras. So when you put them together, you look at their styles, who would win. I mean, it's very difficult to compare and contrast. But again, I'll give it a shot, see what I think. I think it'll be interesting. But I'll add them to some of the videos. But you have to give me a little bit of time for me to have a look into a bit more depth. Some of the ones that you mentioned, some of the fighters like what's his name, Jack Johnson. I mean, that guy fought in the 18th centuries. I mean, like to be honest, I don't even know if I'll be able to break down how he fights because fighting was so different then. I mean, Jack Johnson fought in an era where I don't even think it was proper boxing. I mean, it wasn't like fight till you can't fight anymore. I mean, he fought in a different era, if I'm honest with you. So it's a brutal kind of. How do you compare that to, you know, and some of these guys like Ray Robinson had like 230 fights. I mean, so again, the dynamic and everything is just completely different. So it's hard to compare and contrast eras, but we'll give it a go. Coming back onto Canelo and Charlo, Timothy Bradley recently said in an interview that he feels that the Canelo Charlo fight is a mismatch, and that Canelo, he doesn't know how Charlo is going to win that fight. Like Charlo has to box. But as I've said this previously, that Charlo's not really a boxer. Charlo's a guy that likes to have a scrap. You know, if you look at a lot of his fights, the boxer's been the one that's given him trouble. So how is Charlo going to adapt in this fight? Is Charlo versatile like that? Can he adapt? Can he box? Can he box against someone like Saul Alvarez? I'm not sure. So Charlo's definitely going to have to show us different layers in this fight. Charlo's definitely going to have to show us something different. Charlo's going to have to show us what he's about in this fight. Charlo's going to have to show us whether he's got something different up his sleeve. Otherwise, you'd have to say that, you know, his chances of winning this fight are very limited. Because Canelo Alvarez, like Bradley said, that Canelo's got a great chin. Canelo can take a punch. He can give a punch. And Charlo is a smaller guy, so he goes, I just can't see how Charlo wins this fight. And a lot of people have that mindset, that how is Charlo going to win this fight? Because Canelo's just way bigger, way stronger, he hits harder, and he's probably the better boxer out of the two. Yeah, he's probably the better boxer out of the two. So how does he win this fight, Charlo? You know, and a lot of people seem to have that sort of theory that they don't really see how Charlo is going to come out on top in this fight. And to be honest with you, you can see why. I mean, Canelo's fighting a guy that's two weight classes. And I know people say, well, Charlo, I say that, look, size-wise, Charlo is as big, if not bigger, like physically, but Canelo's been fighting at 168. There's a difference between a guy if he goes up in weight, he's got the frame, but Canelo's been fighting at 168. Canelo's fought at 175. So Canelo's acclimatized to that weight. That as well makes a difference. Because Charlo's now going to go up. Is he going to be as explosive? Is he going to be as fast? Is he going to have that same, we don't know. We don't know. So this is why, just because Charlo might have the frame where he could go up, that doesn't necessarily mean Khan had the frame, not the width, but Khan had the height and he had the frame to go up to 155. But that doesn't mean Canelo's massive. And a lot of you say that, well, Charlo's bigger and this, that. No, Canelo's massive. Canelo's a big guy, a very big guy. And when I mean big guy, Canelo's built like a house. Canelo is built like a house. He's massive. Canelo's got a huge neck, huge back. He's massive. And I saw that when he fought Khan. When he after the weigh-in, when he came out the fight night, he was massive. His back was massive. He was a huge guy. And he's a big guy. He's a thick set. He doesn't look big, but he's a thick set. Charlo's muscular, but Canelo's a thick set. He's a big guy. He's built like a house. He's a really big man. And I think, like I said, Canelo's just physically a great specimen. I mean, he's just built like a house, strong. He can take a punch. He's just a rough and tough roughneck, just a rough fighter, like a rough guy, and strong, built, guy that you can imagine him if he wasn't a boxer in the gym, squatting 300 kg, the guy's next level. The guy's just super strong. Probably squatting 220, 200. I mean, the guy's just super strong. Do you know what I mean? I saw Canelo squat once, and it's like he had 4 or 5 plates on each side. You know what I mean? The guy's super strong. Super strong. Just built like a monster, built like a house, So people like that are very difficult, very difficult, because they're just built, they're born to do what they're doing. Canelo is born, his body is built to fight. So, for me, the reason why it's going to be hard for Charlo is because Charlo is fighting a guy who's big, strong, very good boxer, can take a punch, can give a punch. Like Bradley said, this could be a mismatch. And can Charlo box? We don't know, because we haven't really seen it. He's been the aggressor. He's been the guy that's explosive. He's been the guy that's looking to chop you down and knock you out. It's really the boxers that have given Charlo trouble. So is Charlo versatile enough? Now, I actually think Jermell, on the other hand, Jermell is probably... And although Jermell's had a more impressive career, Jermell might be a better boxer than Jermell, from what we've seen so far. Jermell might have had the more impressive knockouts and been more explosive. But Jermell might be the better boxer out of the two. So, stylistically, is this a fight that stylistically favors Canelo massively? Possibly. Because, like I said to you, if Jermell can't box, there's no way he can fight fire with Canelo. A guy that's been at 168 longer, a guy that's acclimatized at that weight longer. I mean, if he was to go in there and start trading bombs with Canelo, it'd probably be disastrous for him. You'd like to think it'd be disastrous. So he can't really go in there and trade with Canelo, can he? It wouldn't be wise to. You'd assume it wouldn't be wise to. It'd be wise for him to box. But can he box? Can he box to a disciplined fight where he can box from the outside? He's the longer, probably, I don't know if he's got the longer reach. I'd assume so. He's definitely taller. So can he box from range against Canelo? And can he be disciplined? Has he got that kind of ability, that kind of versatility? Because we haven't really seen that. We've seen more of a guy that's explosive, that comes in, that looking to knock you out. I mean, the rematch, he knocked out Harrison in the rematch. In Castano, he knocked out Castano in the rematch. So clearly he can come back and become more aggressive and win the rematches by knockout. But how is he going to go in there if Canelo Alvarez is the guy with the firepower? If Canelo Alvarez is a bigger, stronger man. How does Charlo adapt to that? How does Charlo react to that? What does Charlo do? That, I don't know. And this is a question mark for me. I don't know how Charlo is going to be able to box with Saul Alvarez. That's the big issue for me. I just don't know how he's going to be able to handle Canelo's strength, how he's going to be able to handle Canelo. It's because, like I said to you, that for me, Canelo is a beast. He's built to do what he does, right? Charlo's style kind of favors it because Charlo's not knocking Canelo out. He's not knocking Canelo out. You know, Canelo's never been hurt. He's never been put down by a much bigger guys. So Charlo's not going to hurt Canelo. He's not going to knock Canelo out. So Charlo's going to have to, he's going to have to make it a boxing match, but Charlo doesn't really box like that. So how is Charlo going to go about his work? That's interesting for me. How is Charlo going to win this fight? That's going to be very, very interesting because, like I said, Charlo might have to do things that he hasn't done before to win this fight. So that's going to be very interesting to see how he adopts and approaches his fight. But it's going to be very interesting. What do you guys think? Do you think this is a mismatch? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below if you think this is a mismatch. Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, guys.